Welcome to the Style Arcades podcast, brought to you by Victoria Leeds. Style Arcades is your front row seat to the world of fashion, lifestyle and culture, where trends meet timeless conversations. Join me, Michelle Eagleton, as we chat you through the latest in fashion, beauty, home, lifestyle and so much more, all through the lens of designer brands and local influencers. We'll be delving behind the scenes into the stories behind the brands that you'll find in our centre, plus giving you the latest trends and tips to enhance your very own style. Our gorgeous studio is styled by North Home, and the wonderful artwork is brought to you by Castle Fine Art. Let's get started. Well, welcome to the second episode of Style Arcades podcast. And today I am joined with two fabulous women. We've got Tracy Fletcher, the chair of SmartWorks Leeds, and we've got Ruth Preston, who's a style content creator. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you're looking rather stylish today, I've got to say, but I shouldn't actually be shocked by this. I have been doing a little bit of my homework on both of you, and style is a big part of both of your lives in different ways. I'm going to come to you first, Ruth. I mean, you know, I look at your Instagram, wear it like Ruth, and I kind of think, I can't stop scrolling. And look at you today.
Thank you.
In blue. How did style come into your life?
Gosh, I mean, it's a really good question. And I can't really pinpoint it. It's just something that I've always loved. You know, just from being a young girl, I've always been so, and my mum and dad would vouch for this, very particular about what I wore, and I still am to this day. And it led me to, I mean, my first job following university, I studied retail at uni, and my first job was actually at BHS head office down in London. So it was always going to be, you know, in some sort of retail fashion thread. So yeah, I love it.
So yours was from the start, really, and it always has been, whereas yours has just been quite something that has kind of osmosis type become thrust on you, Tracy.
Yes, I'm really awkward around fashion and clothing. It's not natural to me. I mean, I'm a banker by profession. I had a corporate wardrobe that literally back in the 80s and 90s was just a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you have
heels.
shoulder pads?
I did in the 80s, and in the 90s I had Filofax. And I've still got my Filofax now.
Well, they are coming back, and the shoulder pads. I have a little bit of a shoulder pad going on myself.
You
today,
do?
Got to say,
Yeah.
A bit Melanie Griffiths. I'd like to think I was like that in the 90s. And then I started my own recruitment company, which again was gave me an ability to actually come out of the corporate wear. And I swore to God I'd never wear a suit again. And here I am wearing a suit. But there you go. And for sort of 19 years, I became an entrepreneur, and that was great. But I still, clothing was really so far down my list until I became part and, you know, kind of entrenched in SmartWorks. And my kind of how I wanted to and why I was drawn to SmartWorks was not about the clothing particularly. It's about the need to help women, and a lot of the clients' circumstances resonate with me as a human being. Because, you know, I had little confidence when I was young. You know, my father was physically and psychologically abusive to us. So me and my sister were very meek and mild and completely overwhelmed in any social situations. So I was drawn towards SmartWorks for that reason, and then soon realised what fun it is to be around clothing and how actually important clothing is for a woman's self-esteem. And
I mean, it can really change people's outlook and change their lives. And in the way that you're doing it with SmartWorks, it really does have that effect. Tell us a little bit about SmartWorks for anyone who doesn't know about it, because I think it is brilliant, because there's women out there who are just really wanting to get back into employment, and SmartWorks is giving them that confidence, like you said.
It is an incredible charity. It's special. As soon as I heard about it, I had to get involved. I started life as a coach at SmartWorks, and then was invited to be a trustee, and then became chair. But our charity is a very simple intervention in a woman's life. it is a dressing and coaching service, helping a woman to get back into employment. It's so much more than that, because it's actually about injecting a woman with the confidence and the self-belief to know that she has a place, she is enough, and she can succeed. And the clothing, it's, you know, how we we deliver the service, it's very specific that we start with the clothing. So we you can imagine a lot of the clients that we look after come from very difficult circumstances. They have low self-esteem. Some of them haven't worked for 20 years. Some of them have been in the prison system. Some have been in domestic abuse situations. And so coming through the door is incredibly difficult before you even start with taking your clothes off in front of another human being. So, you know, we're very careful how we sit down and talk to our clients about what they like to wear, what makes them feel special, what colours they like to do. I would say 9 times out of 10, they just say, I wear black and just give me a pair of trousers and a top. So the art is how we then sit down with them and say, look, you know, excellent, we have lots of black trousers and black tops. Let's start you with that. But how do you feel about just putting a bit of colour in a jacket? And why don't you try this? And then all of a sudden you can see it's almost like an injection of confidence comes. They look in the mirror. We call it the magic mirror moment, when, you know, the woman actually looks in the mirror and can't believe it's her.
Oh, wow.
I know, it makes me shiver. And then I think we have this thing we call the twirling moment. So we have women that come in and they don't make eye contact with you because they're so frightened of what's happened. They can't believe that somebody's going to give them clothing and not actually ask for something in return. And, you know, after about 10, 15 minutes in the outfit, they're twirling in the mirror. And it is just a joy to behold. So we start with that, because then when they are more relaxed, they're ready to be coached about how to apply themselves in an interview and what interview questions to ask and how to answer interview questions and things like that.
And you must see that in what you do, Ruth, because as a style content creator, you're giving people that chance to maybe be a bit more bold. And do you see that in some of the direct messages and comments that you get from people like, oh, I would never have put that and that together? Because, you know, there's a lot of women out there who are wearing black, you know, whatever their background, or just they're stuck in a rut and won't think that anything's going to look right on them.
Oh, completely. And that comes from a place of knowing for me, because that's absolutely where my account began. And I was saying to you earlier, Tracy, it's, for me, as I said, I've always loved style, but after having kids, it was like, suddenly I didn't know where I felt comfortable on the high street. Where should I be shopping? What looks right on me? I just felt quite lost, if I'm honest, when it came to dressing, which was really unfamiliar territory for me. And I would open up my wardrobe and probably just reach for jeans and a t-shirt or jeans and a jumper. It was like the mum uniform, because as a new mum, I guess you're kind of bottom of the pile. Yeah. You know, you don't think about yourself, do you? But actually, I came to learn quite quickly when I started the account that if you do think about yourself a little bit more and make yourself feel good and top yourself up in whatever way that might be. For me, it was actually dressing well that put the confidence back in me, that then gave me myself back. So that's where the account came from. It was almost putting myself out there, thinking, do you know what? I'm going to take a photo of me every day, and that would in turn make me think above and beyond the jeans and the t-shirt, or the jeans and the jumper. So I'd actually think, oh my God, well, I can't wear that because I had that on yesterday. I need to actually shop my wardrobe and put something else on and take a photo and share it with others. And you're absolutely right. By doing that, I would receive messages, and, you know, my account started to grow. Still, you know, I'm still have a very small account, but it started back in, I think, 2018. And I've just loved the journey and the people that have come on that with me for that reason. It's amazing.
And with the messages that you get, I imagine lots of women are refreshed at the fact that you're not out there wearing a really tight corset and really high heels. What I like is you present fashion that looks great, but it also looks practical and comfortable. And I'm all about the comfort. Yeah. I don't know about you, Trace. Yeah.
I'm comfy.
For me, I mean, I think it's sort of in my little bio at the top, it's everyday, wearable, relatable looks, you know, and I don't have the time to go shopping a lot. You know, every now and again I might buy a few little pieces, but it's very much, you know, what I've got on today are items that I've had in my wardrobe for a long time, but it's always practical and stylish. I'm a busy full-time working mum of 3 kids, you know. I haven't got sort of the time or the energy to be wearing items that just aren't going to be practical. So yeah, it can be stylish and practical, all about that.
Definitely. And again, you would say that, I suppose, to the women that are coming in, because not only, you know, do they want the confidence, but I suppose they've got to feel comfortable in what they're putting.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that has changed massively, we were talking about things that happened in lockdown, but you know, COVID has meant that the world of work has changed massively from a hybrid perspective, the type of clothing people wear, some of the jobs they do, and how they show up at work. So you know, we have a lot more demand for more comfortable clothing that, you know, so comfortable clothing here from the waist down, and maybe something a bit smarter on top when you're on a Zoom. I actually firmly believe that you cannot be yourself if you are trussed up so much and you are in clothing that does not make you feel nice.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be that authenticity there as well, and you have to feel that you are connected to those clothes.
Yeah.
And I know you said yourself you're a bit uncomfortable in clothes and with fashion. You are looking absolutely
Thank
great,
you.
I've got to
That's
say
very
that.
kind.
But along the way, I imagine you yourself have picked up tips from these great ambassadors that you've got. You've got Jane Shepherd,
know.
one of like this incredible woman that has been a part of the fashion industry for so long. What's that like, having her as an ambassador, and somebody like Jennifer Saunders?
I think it is great when you are not fashionable, particularly, to surround yourself with experts. And so Jane Shepherdson, as you said, Topshop, until she fell out with Philip Green, which she's very open about. So who wouldn't fall out with Philip Green? But anyway, that's another story for another day. Tiff Dark, who was the fashion editor for the Times Style magazine. As you say, people like Jennifer Saunders and Betty Jackson, and then our own beautiful, beautiful Natalie Anderson, who are real style icons, and they're embedded in the fashion industry to the extent where they've done all the hard yards, and I've just picked up the nice bits out of it. So one of the things I picked up from Tiff, definitely, is a jacket. Just a good all-round jacket that you can dress up, dress down. And green is my go-to colour. So this just goes with everything. I can wear it with jeans. I can wear it with whatever. What was it? Oh, Ruth Cherry, who is on the board, on my board. She is sustainability queen, wardrobe queen. And she said something to me, whatever you do, Tracy, don't dress for the size you think you are.
That's very true, yeah.
Ah, what do you mean by that? Because that's something that, you know, I haven't heard.
So if you think about it, so, you know, if you think I'm a size 10,
Yeah.
and you then fixated on getting something in a size 10, and then you're so disappointed in it when it doesn't look right on you, but don't then think, oh my God, I'm buying this in a size 14. Look at me, I must have put loads of weight on. Actually, if that looks good
100%.
in a size 14,
I
wear
mean,
it.
this blouse that I actually bought at the most recent SmartWorks pop-up at Victoria Leeds, it's a size 16 and I'm a size 12. I don't care because it feels comfortable. And it actually fits perfectly in my opinion. So it's about what that item makes you feel. Forget about the label.
Yeah, and I do think it depends what store you go in to,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've gone into stores before now and picked up something that is in my size, and it has felt like it's 2 sizes too small, and I've gone home and thought, maybe I should just have a coffee today. But it is right. And you mentioned the pop-ups. I mean, we did them at Victoria Leeds. We're going to be doing some more later on this year with you. And it's things like that, I imagine, that really help SmartWorks.
Yes, so obviously we're always wanting people to donate clothing to us. Our wardrobe is solely from clothing donations. So thank you, Ruth. I know that you've donated some stuff. I think we talked about Stephanie Hurst has donated some fabulous pieces. Christine Talbot, who amazing. And we have really great partnerships with some really, really big firms like John Lewis, Marks and Spencer's, Scamp and Dude, all these beautiful, beautiful things. But we encourage people to donate clothing that's not work appropriate for this reason. So we have 2 pop-ups at Victoria Gate. Thank you, Joe Coburn, for facilitating these for us. And they run for 10 days each. And anything that is not work appropriate can go in the pop-up. So, Cashmere, Brody Cashmere have donated clothing to us before, beautiful, beautiful cashmere jumpers that you can actually buy at a fraction of the cost. And all of the funds that we raise goes to helping more women in and around our region to get work, get jobs.
That is absolutely fantastic. It really is. And, what an opportunity to get clothing like that and also do some good, right, Ruth?
Oh, absolutely. But I think as a shopper as well, I love nothing more than having, a good rummage, whether it be it in a charity shop or at a SmartWorks pop-up, where that particular item isn't necessarily being sold currently. So not everybody is going to be wearing it. You're getting it at a fraction of a price. I love that. And I think as well, if someone was to say to me, oh my goodness, Ruth, I love that blouse, where's it from? I would absolutely relish in the fact about telling them about SmartWorks or that I'd picked it up in a charity shop. I think it's, something that has a story attached to an item, for me, just gives it a place in your wardrobe, even more so than something else that you've just bought from a high street shop,
I think there's also the bit where we are really keen to make sure that we are part of the sustainable fashion industry, which it means that we repurpose or we resell clothing that's pre-loved so that it doesn't end up in landfill. And that's part of what we do. The other thing which I've just remembered, Ruth, is that sometimes when some of our celebrities donate clothing, we ask them to actually put a little message in as to why this item of clothing was so important to them. Maybe they wore it at a ball, or where they wore it at an event where they actually won an award. And then it's just that then makes it even more special. I mean, the magic moment in the mirror is enhanced so much by having an item of clothing that maybe went to the Met Gala. We've never had anything from the Met Gala, by the way. It would be great if it could. But this the kind of thing I mean. It just makes it even more special.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's memories as well. And as a person, if you've enjoyed wearing that piece of clothing, you almost kind of want people to share that joy as well and have that moment. I think sustainability now really is becoming something that is in the forefront of people's minds.
I also think a lot of people don't understand how precarious it is and how we have to do something massively drastic if we're going to claw back some of the damage that we've done. The fashion industry is an amazing thing, but it also causes a lot of problem in society and landfill and all that kind of thing. And I mentioned Tiff Dark earlier on, and I don't think I'm there yet, and I won't be for another couple of years, and my friends will be smirking when they hear this, is that Tiff Dark has this rule of 5. Google it, it's a thing. She's written a book about it, where they did some massive research at Harvard University, and that if we are actually sorry to be doom and gloom, but if we are actually to get out of this crisis that we've got from a sustainability perspective, we can really buy no more than 5 items a year. Doesn't include underwear, thank goodness. But
well, no, that would be a whole different ballgame, wouldn't it?
But I mean, currently, I don't think I could get 5 items a year. I think that would be too hard for me because I still have panic purchases. I still find sometimes when I wake up another rib's grown and I can't fit into that outfit anymore. But to get to that bit where we are so mindful about what we do that we only buy 5 items and then we might swap with our friends or repurpose something, that is the way to go.
I think that's something that you take on board a lot, though, because you will kind of have a leather jacket that I've seen on your Instagram, and you'll show different ways to wear that and switch it up. I mean, not everybody can do that, so it's great that we have people like you that can say, do you know what? You can dress this up, you can dress that down. So, yeah, what would you say to people?
I agree. I think finding, first of all, I think thinking about something that someone told me, and she's a great friend of Victoria Leeds, Anna Muse, she's a stylist who does a lot of work in the Leeds area. She once said to me, when you're buying something, always think about how many ways you can wear it. You know, so yes, you love it when you're in the shop, in the fitting room, trying it on and it looks great now, but think about your wardrobe and how many items will it actually go with. So how many ways to wear that item do you have? And also, how does it make you feel? You know, don't ever buy anything or keep anything in your wardrobe unless it's more than an 8 out of 10. You know, why would you? So those words, Anna, thank you, have definitely stood the test of time with me. But I often, you know, I might go into a store and see something on Instagram. You know, it's a great source of inspiration for me also. And I'll see how someone wears something and I'm like, okay, I could buy it, but I could also just go and shop my wardrobe and think, have I got something similar that might look similar? You know, how they've put it together. And that's all I then go and do, is recreate it in my world, on my body and with my audience, really. So we're all inspired by others, but it's sort of thinking, okay, well, I've got something similar. How can I rewear that and make it look the same but different, you know, that's right for me?
Yeah, and I like what you said there about sometimes you'll have something in your wardrobe and it's kind of your best item, but you just save it for best.
Oh, never do that.
But I've done that for years, where I've gone, you know, I'll save that, and I've either grown out of it or the fashion has passed and I haven't had the joy out of it. But now I do buy something and I go, I'm going to wear it.
Absolutely.
You know, wear that jacket, because that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to give you that
joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I think it gives you, to your point earlier about, you know, the amazing women that you dress, Tracy, at SmartWorks, and how they leave and how they feel. I think dressing gives you that sort of joy, and it's like your body armor, it's your confidence. And also it makes you feel great, but other people around you feel great. I love that. You know, when you get stopped in the street and, oh my God, that colour looks great on you. Yeah, it makes you feel great and other people feel great. And why save that for something that might not ever happen, you know?
Absolutely. And talking about colour there and joy, I mean, dopamine colours are, you know, a big thing. We were talking about them, and you've both got great colours on. What is your go-to dopamine colour?
I mean, I do love a cobalt blue, dressed head to toe in it today, but if you were to ask any of my friends that question, they'd probably associate me with orange. And you'll see a lot of that actually in my house as well. I have quite a lot of orange in my house, but I do have quite a lot of colours in my wardrobe that also are in my house. So orange is probably the one. I love it. A pop of orange or a pop of red.
Oh, we need to get onto your house soon. Honestly, her house is incredible. But what about you, Tracy? What is the colour?
I mean, what's the giveaway?
Could it be green?
It could be green, yes. I was definitely dressed in black for years and years and years, which was just ridiculous when I think about it. And then over the last few years, green has just started to just infiltrate my wardrobe quite significantly. And when I've tried to kind of think about why green, I'm an outdoors girl. That's what I am. I'm out. If, you know, the minute I can get out with a dog and go into the fields, I can go into the woods, and I've realised that I associate and I'm drawn to colours that are from nature.
Ah, that's interesting. I do like a good dog walk myself. I've got to say, our room is actually got a bit of a fragrance going on today. I don't know if you smelled it, and that, funnily enough, is inspired by nature and the outdoors. It's Penhaligons' latest fragrance. It's called Finley. It's beautiful, actually.
I love it.
Virtuous Finley, and it's all about kind of the smells with like stallions. So the leather, the freshness, the grass, those kind of scents. I just think things like that, scents, evoke kind of a mood, like clothes evoke a mood, like you said with the green. And going on to that mood, I mean, do you have the scents in your house? You've got the hidden house in Leeds. Not only is she a bit of a style icon with the clothes, but this is a whole next level in renovating, Ruth.
Thank you. It certainly was at the time. So yes, I have. We've got an interiors account which is called Hidden House Leeds, and accidentally, when we sold our previous property to start on this renovation, we went into it quite blind because all of a sudden COVID happened. So that was interesting, to say the least. But yeah, we kind of left. There was a house there. We left 2 walls of that old house standing, and worked with some incredible architects, mesh architects, to create the house that it is today. And we really we live in a very open plan property, which has its benefits and disadvantages when we have 3 kids as well and a dog running around the place. But yeah, it's definitely a labour of love. It has been for sure.
I mean, I take my hat off to you because I watch these programmes. I don't know if you do, Tracy, like Grand Designs.
Absolutely.
And I sit there with my husband and go, wow, this is incredible. Look at the end goal. But then I just think, wow, they've been doing this for 1-2 years and I couldn't even get my bathroom renovated without losing my patience and going, are you finished yet? Are you finished?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It was a lot, looking back. It really was, because we were trying to do homeschool for the kids at the same time. God. We both were working at the same time. So it was a lot. I'm not quite sure. It's one of those things that you look back on and wonder yourself, how did we do it? But I really enjoy that process. I love sourcing things, and we had to do a lot of that online because we weren't able to go into actual shops during some of that period of the reno. But I love that. I get quite a thrill in seeing how something comes together. A bit like with an outfit, you know, trying to put, I don't know, a certain colour scheme with a certain room, or working with light in a different way. So yeah, I enjoy that. It's kind of, and I think when you enjoy something, it's less hard work. You know,
I'm still not convinced.
No,
Honestly, I really do not have the patience.
I'm not saying
I just
I'm
want
going to
your
do
house
it again in a hurry. I'm not saying that. We're now onto the garden. That's a whole other discussion, but probably not for today.
Well, you have to see it because literally there is a bathroom that is pink. Is that kind of like a Miami style?
It is
bathroom?
very Miami sort of inspired. That's the girls' shared bathroom. Yeah,
Wow.
Pink tiles.
Nice.
Lots of.
Barbie would love it,
She
but very
would.
cool Barbie would love that, I've got to say.
Yeah, it's fun. Lots of fun.
But as I say, you know, you have got this stylish life and you say that you are inspired by other people on Instagram. Is there a particular person that you actually look up to when it comes to style icons?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I mean, I think anybody who I can sort of see myself in, and what I mean by that is from an age perspective. I mean, I'm 46 years old, and I am definitely inspired by the likes of someone like Erica Davies, Trinny Woodall. Obviously love Trinny and everything that she does in terms of her colour and her style. And so, yeah, I would always look to people of a similar feel. But it's constantly evolving. You know, I think the great thing about Instagram in particular is that there's always someone new to come across. And I just love that. It's so fresh.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, Instagram is a great way of kind of being able to observe that. And that must work well for SmartWorks Leeds, you know, being able to show some of the successes of the women that you've got into employment. I mean, there must be a lot of success stories that have touched your heart, Tracy.
Gosh, I mean, we could have a whole podcast just on that. I mean, the statistics, let's go back. Remember, I'm a banker. Let's just do statistics. So 2/3 of the women that access our service go on to get a job within a month.
Gosh,
let's just let that settle in. I mean, that is just why this beautiful charity needs to continue to exist, because we are giving those women economic independence. So you can imagine that we have lots of really great success stories. And it's no surprise that when we put the success stories, we have lots of great Instagram content. We have, you know, details of the pop-ups, details of the job fairs, details of the move, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But the ones that get the most traction are the stories of the clients. So we have client ambassadors that stay with us for a year. So and again, not everybody wants to be a client ambassador, because we ask them to go and speak at events, which must be very scary for a lot of women. So I can tell you one success story of a woman I coached. She was a Ukrainian refugee. She came to the UK with just a carrier bag with some clothing in, and she's a Ukrainian investment banker.
Wow.
So obviously it was natural that she paired up for coaching with me, because I know the industry, and I was very lucky to be able to we did some career coaching with her, because she didn't even know what the job market looked like in the UK. I was then able to put her in touch with a wonderful woman, and she arranged a job interview for her at the company that she worked at, and she got the job. Now, you know, that allowed her to move out of the shared accommodation that she was, have her own kind of place of her own, and she's still 18 months, 2 years later, still working her way up through that company. We have a quote, and it'll have to be a paraphrase of the quote because I've not got it with me. But there's a woman who got the job, and she gave us a quote, and it said, "When you are so small and have nothing, and nobody looks at you," and see, it makes me cry every time. And SmartWorks gave me a voice, and I was heard.
Wow.
And I became somebody again.
So powerful, but that is literally everything, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, how can that not touch you? And you realise, what you are doing is changing lives. You changed 1,000 women's lives last year at SmartWorks. And I know the plan going forward is to, do triple, quadruple that. Tell us about this expansion that you're moving premises later this year, aren't you?
We are, yes. So we're in Mabgate Mills. We've got 2,000 square feet at the minute. We've outgrown it. If you can imagine, so if we're looking after 1,000 women, and so we're giving probably 700 women interview clothing, 6 or 7 items of clothing, including shoes, handbags, coats, underwear. There's a lot of space there. If you got 2/3 get the job, then they come back and have a capsule wardrobe to see them through to their first paycheck. So that's another 5, 6, 7 items of clothing. And we are absolutely, we're creaking at the seams. So we saw a space open up opposite us, which is 4,000 square feet. So we're just in the process. I've signed the lease. Oh my God, I've signed the lease.
Was that scary?
Yes. Yeah. Double the rent, but double the space, double the rent. But it allows us to have more coaching rooms, more dressing rooms, more stock. And what my vision for this place is that we create a hub, almost like an ecosystem, a place in the region where the region's women can come together to help the region's women, and our 3-year plan is that we'll get to, I'm going to say it really quickly. So our absolutely top performing month was in March of this year, where we helped 106 women in a month, and we want to get to 400 women in
That's a
month.
big number.
Yeah, it'll take us 2 to 3 years to get there, because we've got to employ more people, more volunteers, we've got to raise more money, get more stock. But there is a need. I mean, in the region, we are badged SmartWorks Leeds, but we are SmartWorks Yorkshire, really. And there is probably a need right today for over 50,000 women. We could help over 50,000 women today if we had the resources and the capacity to do that.
But you're on the way now.
Yes.
You are on the way with that one. And you're also doing outreach in Bradford.
Yes, we're just very excited. We just got some grant funding from Yorkshire Building Society. Thank you, Yorkshire Building Society, for your very, very generous support to do a 3-year project into Bradford. Again, a region that is absolutely needs us. That women in the Bradford communities are further away from the job market, so we're looking at a more bespoke service that allows us to help those women get job ready. Because at the moment, if we gave them an interview coaching, that wouldn't be useful at all, because a lot of the women wouldn't get to the stage where they would be able to apply for a job and get an interview. So we're looking at delivering confidence coaching, confidence workshops, how to write CV workshops, you name it. We've got that on the agenda, and we want to employ women from the communities of Bradford to support us, so that they feel it's back to trust again, isn't it? They want to make sure that the communities in Bradford see what we are doing as a safe place to be. So yeah, that's 2 huge plans.
That is massive. But I also love the fact that it's women helping other women. And somebody said to me once that, together we rise.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is a big thing now. I think there's so many more women that are helping other women be lifted, yourself included, Ruth, with what you're doing with the clothing,
Thank you.
Now, I've got to say to you both, you must have had some fashion advice along the way. I know you mentioned a little bit before about the fashion advice that you'd received from some of the stylists and the people. I'm going to come to you though first, Ruth, and put you on the spot. What's the best piece of fashion advice that you've had, apart from like the one about, that was you actually, Tracy, about not dressing the right size?
Dressing for what fits.
Well, I think probably mine is to echo what Anna Muse told me. So the never, ever, never buy anything that makes you feel less than an 8 out of 10.
Yes.
And
That's so.
it's a
I'm gonna
really
take
good
that.
one, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think you can often sort of buy or be in a fitting room and try something on and think, well, I like it, and then maybe for some reason you still buy it. But if I'm ever like, well, I like it, but I'm like, no, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. So I really thank Anna for sharing that with me.
Have you ever had a fashion disaster then? You know, when you've bought something and gone, I really shouldn't have worn that, or I shouldn't have worn that.
I think this is a really interesting question, because I think we've all had those moments, haven't we, where we look back and think, what was I actually thinking? Like, what is that? What am I wearing? But at the time, it feels so right. So I just think that everything in hindsight is obviously sort of, you look back and think, oh, okay, well, I don't know why I did that, but there must have been a reason at the time for it. So I like to think that all of my sort of fashion moments, and there's been a few, but all of my fashion moments have been right at that time. So I don't want to go back and try and unpick it or undo it, because I will have done it with confidence at that time. So that's my thinking.
Yeah, confidence, and you've learned from it
and
as
I've
well.
learned from it. Yeah, and also I think, I'm actually really enjoying sort of moving through the ages, and I think with that comes more confidence and a bit more of you sort of just brush quite a lot of stuff off your shoulders the older that you get, and you just think, well, whatever, and I'm going to wear that because it makes me feel good, and I don't really care about anything or what anyone else thinks, quite honestly. But I think if I was to look back at my younger self, that definitely wasn't the case, and you would probably wear things to try and fit in, or, because your friends might have been wearing something, whereas I just think that now, the age that I'm at, that's just not the case at all. I'll sort of do something because it feels right for me.
It's
So a very long-winded answer to your question.
No,
Sorry,
it is. It's about knowing yourself. I think
Yeah.
that's what you're saying, and kind of getting to an age when you're thinking, I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
I do know my own style. I'm going to ask you what your fashion disaster was, though, Tracy.
I will give you my fashion disaster, and I will give you an extra little tip.
Go on.
Actually, so my extra little tip is, I'm very lucky because my mum-in-law lives with us. She's 98.
Wow.
She has an apartment in my house, which is just lovely. But she was a fashion... So she used to make haute couture dresses and wedding dresses for a living. So she is... And she's fully au fait and compos mentis. And so she only does my alterations now from like a kind of a, everything needs taking up when you're 5'1". She's very useful. But over the years, she has repurposed clothing for me all the time. So I'd say, I've bought this, but I don't like the neck because it doesn't suit me. So she'd just make it into a scoop neck or into a V-neck. Or I once bought a size 16 fishtail evening dress when I was a size 8. And it's all bones in it, and she took it all to pieces and put it back as a size 8. Anyway, wow. I'm not saying that you have to have a 98-year-old mother-in-law in your attic or anything.
Can you just kind of like share her around,
Absolutely.
please? We all need your mother-in-law.
Jonio, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
But what my tip is, find somebody who can help you with your alterations, and then instead of wasting clothing, have it repurposed. Make it shorter, make it a different neck, different sleeves, all those things, and then you're not putting things...
Lots of people do that with their wedding dresses, don't they? They sort of repurpose it or dye it.
Dye it or whatever. So that's my hot
I think that is great advice, and I'm 5'2", so I know all about having to alter trousers and everything. There needs to be more petite ranges about, definitely.
Agreed.
Go on, tell us your mishap.
Oh my God, honestly... It will go down in history as the best fashion faux pas. I've got imposter syndrome when it comes to clothing at the best of times. I was saying to you, wasn't I rocked up once to do a talk about imposter syndrome at International Women's Day, and I brought an extra item, a pair of outfit, just in case when I got there everybody else was wearing better clothes than me. So that's imposter syndrome at its best. I also Googled examples of imposter syndrome because I thought mine might not be good enough.
No.
Yes. Anyway, that's not my fashion faux pas.
That's next level, Tracy.
I overthink everything. I'm just hilarious. But my fashion faux pas, I was in my 30s, early 30s. Me and Kev, big corporate, running around. That's my husband, by the way. Running around like mad things. Got an invitation to go to Ripon Races with a good friend of ours, Toby Underwood, who was at PwC at the time. I'm thinking, I'm on the back foot, Saturday morning, right, okay, slapped a bit of fake tan on, great. Right, it's racers. Everything goes, doesn't it? So I've got this beautiful. I got it from French Dressing. If you won't remember French Dressing, it was just the place to go for your clothing in Leeds back in the day. And it was like dusky pink handkerchief dress with gold shoestring straps. I wore strappy sandals. It was a murky March day in Ripon, and I got a lovely big pink pashmina.
Oh, pashminas, do you remember that?
I've still got
one.
two pashminas.
Accessory.
It is the thing. Anyway, so I'm in the car. Kevin is in a suit, white shirt, no tie. So we're driving up to Ripon. It's peeing it down. I say, just give us the invitation. Just make sure what time we're here. I looked, dress code. Women, smart casual. Men, tie and jacket and must.
Oh, no.
I was like...
What did you do?
Well, I just had to rock it out. I got there, I wrapped my pashmina as far around me as possible so that we borrowed a tie from reception at Ripon Racers, and I shivered all day and just drank copious amounts of champagne to try and get through it. And nobody batted an eyelid.
I bet they didn't, but in your head, this is the thing. But yeah.
I bet they all thought you looked fabulous. I thought she was going to say it started raining and the fake tan went all over the dress.
It could have happened. I was too drunk by then. It wouldn't have happened.
And do you know what that also reminds me of is the work-life balance that you both have, because when you are going at 100 miles an hour sometimes, you do things like that because you're just trying to fit everything in. I know recently your work-life balance has changed. You really want to kind of get that right, don't you? But it's difficult as a woman, I think, to juggle everything.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see what your answer is on this, Ruth, and I might take some notes, because I sold my business last year and I fully expected that this work-life balance would miraculously appear. But SmartWorks has a way of just infiltrating all the little nooks and crannies, because we've got big plans, and who wouldn't want to go and help women and play with the clothing? And I love it. It is so important to me, sorry. But you know, I firmly believe I've still got to get to grips with this. So one of the things I've been doing is I've been trying to, if I'm booking meetings, I'll go for a walk with those people to do that. I've started to book things in, like while swimming at a place, so that I have to go and do it, and somewhere where I have to leave my phone. I mean, it's hard. So I'll be interested to see how you
I think as women, as people, I think we're all trying, aren't we, to attain and to find that perfect, whatever perfect is, work-life balance, and it'll be different for everybody. But I totally agree with you, Tracy. I think for me, it's finding the time in a day to do exercise or to do something for me. And back in the day, I used to exercise because I felt that it was good for my body and it kept me in shape. Now it's absolutely for my mental health, my mental well-being, and I go to a great studio in Roundhay, and I go maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and I'll get up and I'll go early in the morning, first thing, before the kids have even got up to go to school, because that's the only time I can squeeze it in. But if I don't, I notice actually, and this is quite interesting, I notice the days that I don't do a class and the days that I work from home and perhaps throw a tracksuit on and don't put something on that makes me feel good, I noticed that how much it affects me, and I feel different. And my husband will come home from work and I'm in a foul mood, and it really has an impact. So for me, it's definitely getting outdoors, having a walk, doing a class, and actually getting dressed properly makes a huge difference.
And as you say, it doesn't have to be a long amount of time, because we know that it's hard to get kind of an hour here, an hour there. Even if it's like 20 minutes of you time, at least you know that you've had that you time, and it changes your mindset.
It really does.
Yeah. I'm going to give you some quick fire questions, ladies. Are you ready for the quick fire questions? Okay, my first question for you. Comfies or couture?
Comfies.
Every time comfies.
Yeah, I'm glad. You're women that have a little bit of me with you. Era that you could go back to for style. What has been your favourite era?
90s that I lived through. I'm definitely an All Saints girl. Cargo pants and a vest top. Absolutely.
Now I thought you'd meant the group All Saints for a second.
No, I meant both.
All Saints, the group was around really when All Saints
absolutely
as the brand was really
All Saints, the group, absolutely. But if I was to go back to something where I didn't actually wear the clothing but lived in it, the 70s. Oh my God, the Bieber era, all that kind of stuff.
I'd be with you with that, with the
Beautiful.
70s, yeah.
I can see that in you, actually. There's a little bit of that kind of vibe going on.
Yeah, I love that kind of, I think that sort of opportunity to be a bit more, it's that sort of floaty and soft and the feminine side. I think it would be really, really fun. And obviously all the vibrant colours that era would bring as well.
Your favourite item of clothing ever?
It's got to be this beautiful leather Jaeger dress that I bought. And I bought it from a dress agency called Mulberry House, which unfortunately is no more. But Kathy really knew me, and she'd often just ring up and say, we've got some clothing that's come in, and like haute couture stuff at a fraction of the price. And she knew exactly what suited me. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time. Anyway, I bought this Jaeger dress, fraction of the price, beautiful. It was chocolate, soft leather, almost in the style of Karen Millen, that kind of svelte, when I was svelte. That's a long time ago now. And literally I wore it twice, and you couldn't wear it in the summer, so I wore it twice, packed it away over the summer because it was too warm, got it out of the wardrobe, and I'd grown a rib. So couldn't fasten, couldn't even near fasten, and because it's leather you can't alter it. There's no way you can, stretch the seams or anything like that. God, I sound like I know what I'm talking about, don't I?
But you do now. You really do. You've picked it all up.
I know.
On SmartWorks. I love
it. So I gave it to the SmartWorks sale, and there is some beautiful individual walking around in my Jaeger leather dress.
That is fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, I love that story.
Now, fashion item for you. Which one is your favourite ever that you've worn?
It's probably something very unexpected, and sorry, this is going to be really boring. I'm actually going to say my Converse that I've got on.
No, honestly.
I think mainly because what I love about these is that they are always in style. They can be dressed up, dressed down. I wear them as I have done today with my suit. I'd wear it with a dress, I'd wear it with my jeans. So I just think, and everyone can wear them. They come in all sorts of different colours. So it's not necessarily, it isn't an expensive item, but it's just something for me that I wear frequently and in lots of different ways, which kind of is just, yeah, that's what's important to me in an item of clothing.
I like that, and it is timeless and it's comfy. And you've said, comfort means a lot. It really, really does.
It's the essence of you, Ruth, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
you.
Now, I'm going to end with a question for you both, really. And I guess it's, what is the dream going forward? Because you guys have conquered a lot already. Is there something that, is just kind of there that you want to reach for, Tracy?
I think from a SmartWorks perspective, it's the legacy I want to leave. I've got a few more years as chair, and I want to leave it in the shape that I've got the vision for, which is this future-proofing the space so that we have this hub for women to come to, a hub for our corporate communities to come and get involved in helping more women, that we are the voice of employability in the region so that, companies can come to us and we can tell them about the challenges that women face. So that's my kind of SmartWorks vision. If I want to live in Nidderdale. I live in Emley, which is a beautiful, beautiful village. I want to live in Nidderdale. I want 1 million dogs. And I live in a concept house at the moment, which is great. It's not me, but we had to do it. So it's all kind of 10 shades of tea, white tiles, and it's just not me. I want to go back to living in a farmhouse, which I have done previously. I want 20 twillion dogs. I want to hike over Nidderdale and go to nice restaurants.
Oh, it sounds idyllic. Now, we can't help you with the dogs, but we can help you with a little bit of that renovation of the new house that you're going to get, so that it's not all white with Ruth. So you just need to knock on her door.
I'll be there, Ruth.
What's your dream then, Ruth?
Gosh, that's a great question. I think at the minute, I feel like I'm juggling a lot of things, and I'm absolutely passionate about, as you've said, my sort of creative outlet on both my house account and my style account. But I would really absolutely love to be able to do something within those industries as an actual career, whether that's doing more collaborations with different brands. And I've had so many great opportunities already, since starting my account many, many years ago. But it would be a huge dream of mine to be able to, focus on that On a full-time basis, for sure.
I feel it's going to happen. We're putting it out to the universe there, and I could definitely see her on something like This Morning. Style
Yes.
advisor
I mean, that
on
would
This
be.
Morning.
Can you imagine?
Well,
Oh my
you see,
God, let's make
it
it happen.
said here on Style Arcade.
We're manifesting it for you right now.
I have loved chatting to you both. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
for
my
having
guests
me.
on the podcast, and go out there and continue being stylish, ladies.
We will.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so much.
don't forget, you can listen to our last episode on Style Arcade. You just need to go back. It was a good one. And if you want to listen to more of our episodes, then just follow our Style Arcades podcast. You can follow it on Apple. You can follow it on Amazon. You can even watch us on YouTube in our full glory. And also, don't forget to give us a like, a comment. Follow us on Instagram at Style Arcades Podcast. And we would really love you so much if you gave us 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 stars and a review. Until next time, be stylish.